Welcome back. Here we have another problem from the new digital SAT. It's another one that doesn't have any answer choices. And so here again, we have to rely only on this question in order to arrive at an answer. So I definitely want you to come up with an answer on your own before I start talking about it. It's relatively straightforward. You might think you already know the answer. Maybe you're right, maybe you're not. So pause the video, give it a try. All right, and if you've done that, there are two common answers. One correct, one incorrect. Common answer number one. Common answer number one is 10. So people commonly say 10. And then another common answer is 12. And then maybe another one might be 15. So we're going to talk about where each of these parts come from. Now, it says the frequency table summarizes 49 data values in a data set. What is the maximum data value in the data set? Always when looking at SAT problems, really important to figure out keywords. What is it that we're actually being told to look for? And it says the maximum data value. So to keep this straightforward, and I'll explain more at the end for those who want to stick around, but to keep it really straightforward, maximum will always mean the biggest one. And then it tells us very directly that we're looking for the largest data value. Well, it says data value right here. So which of these data values is the largest? Literally the largest on its own. Well, looking down this list of data values, we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 looks pretty big. So the correct answer here is 12. That may surprise you. A very common answer is 15, or for people who feel that they really understand it, then they end up picking 10. So let's talk about why those are not right, and when they will be right. So these data tables are confusing because there's the two columns, and which one is more important, or what are you supposed to do? So the data value part is telling you what the number actually is. The frequency column is telling you how many of those numbers are there. So if I wanted to write out this data set, so if I was to call this data set A, and sometimes for sets, they've got this weird bracket notation. So the first value in data set A is 5. Now, because it shows that the frequency of 5s is 2, that means that there's actually going to be 2 5s in this data set. So notice how if I want to write out what the data set actually contains, I have to think about both the data value and the frequency. Sometimes they'll switch things up and they'll put the frequency on the left and the data value on the right, or they might call the data value something else. Frequency is always frequency. Data value could be something else. They could call it number of students or something like that. Or I don't know, something, okay? So do know that that name can change. Frequency is pretty common. They can move them around. You want to make sure that you're writing down the values and thinking about the frequencies for how many. So what would I write next in this data set? Well, the second line here says that there are 2 6s. So there's a 6 and another 6 for my values. 7 7s, that's pretty annoying. 7 7 7 7 7, and so on and so forth. Okay? So I could keep going and write out, in the end, the question tells us that there are 49 data values. Now, does that 49 come from adding up the data values? Is this 49? Or is this 49? I want you to think about that. Rather than calculate it, take a moment to think about it. So how do we get how many data values there are? So there are 49 data values. That tells us how many. And remember, how many is a synonym for frequency. So this is 49. This is not 49. So let's go back over to the 10 and the 15 if you want to understand why those are not the correct answer. So why is 10 not the correct answer? Well, it is a data value, and that's good because we were looking for the maximum data value. But is it the maximum one? Is it the largest one? And this is going to be a direct comparison between the numbers 10 and then 11 and 12, which are larger. So it is a data value, but it is not the maximum data value. Now, another common answer, 15, it's the biggest number that you see across this entire table. So when you see maximum, you think, let me go for something big. Well, notice it's in the frequency table. So actually what this tells us, it's a frequency, not a data value. So that doesn't work with our keywords. It is the maximum frequency though. So it does fit on that part, but this gets another name altogether. So whichever data value, in this case 10, has the highest frequency is called the median of the data set. So that might be another question. They do ask about that on the SAT, just not in this question here. So what I'm saying is that is the median going to be 10 or is the median going to be 15? The median is going to be 10 because there are 15 of them, right? Because there are 15 tens. And there are no other data values that have more than that. There are 7 sevens. The closest one is the number 11 because there would be 10 of them if I were to write it out. I'd have to write 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10 times. But I have to write out 10 15 times. So I'm silly. I don't know why I'm saying median. Apologies. That should totally be the mode. All right, forget everything I said about median. There would be another way to calculate the median, which we might do another time.